Well, I think it's fairly safe to say the start of this year has not been textbook in terms of seasons. But then, are we getting textbook seasons at all anymore? I don't think so. However, it is getting warmer. My seedlings are starting to go a little bit mad, so it is time for some fire! So behind me we have the start of our market farm beds, and these beds are going to be for transplant crops, so things that I have direct sown into pots and then I've grown them up into little plants and then they are transplanted into the garden. You can't use this method for things like beets and carrots because you need to drill a long line and put them direct in, but this is going to be where I put my kale here, my spinach and my chard. Now I've got all of those seedlings growing at home, but I need to start making the holes in this membrane to transplant them into. Now to do that, I have a blowtorch, which I just bought from Amazon, and I have a metal cylinder. I think this was on one of those sort of gas canister lights, flame lights. And the idea is I'm going to just heat up the end of this with the blowtorch, heat that up, stick on the plastic, and then it will melt away. You can't cut this very well because it frays, so I think it's much better to use the blowtorch and melt it and melt the little holes out. Now I am a big believer in learning from your experience, but also not ignoring those who have come before you. So to that end, I am taking my spacing from Jean-Martin, who has written this fabulous book. I highly recommend it, and I'll put the link to this book and to the blowtorch, which I bought on Amazon, just below so you can check them out. So my bed, Jean-Martin uses beds of 30 inches. I am translating that into centimetres because I'm not very good at inches. So 75 centimetre beds, a 45 centimetre walkway in between, and then another 75 centimetre bed. So that should cover some of this plastic. And then in terms of spacing, in here he also has crop spacing. So for kale, for example, he does 3 rows that are 10 inches apart, so that will fit for the 30-inch bed, and then he plants them 12 inches all the way down, and that's an intensive cropping. I'm obviously not going to go through this book and tell you exactly what's in there because he did the hard work, so if you do want to find out how to space everything, go and buy the book. But I am going to basically be following exactly what he did and trying to replicate it here. So in terms of getting my line straight, I've got this 10-meter lead-out electrical cable that I'm not currently using. So I'm going to use this as the end point of my bed. So we're going to start from the plastic this side. I'm going to pin this down on the edge and run it all the way down, and that will be our first row in our first bed. And in fact, I've just realised actually, there's actually stripes on here anyway, there's the green lines. So they're going to help me go down. Now you can make a preset template out of it. You could have a wooden template with the holes pre-cut, light it down and just blowtorch through. I don't have anything like that and I need to get on with this task. So we're just going to go with the blowtorch method. And I'm thinking that because of these green lines, once I get one row done and a bit of a grid, it's going to help. Right. So let's see if this works. Swizzle it on. Okay, this did not work. So we are going to try just going with the blowtorch, holding it down and just letting the circle create itself. So 12 inches to the middle, so here. Okay, there's going to be some knack to this, but I reckon if I hold it a bit far away and just gently do it, you can see this one was terribly awful. I've just done this one a lot better. So, new plan. I'm going to go along with a tent peg and make a hole every 12 inches so I know exactly where to blowtorch, and then I'm going to go back over with the blowtorch making holes. There is definitely a knack to it. It's not going to be perfect, but it will work. So now I've got one row. That's going to be my edge. Right, I need to measure 10 inches across for the next row, and I need to do that 3 times, and then that will be the width of a 75 or 30 inch bed. I'm just going to say thank goodness for the green lines on this, because in fact the green lines are 10 inches apart. So I can literally just follow the lines down without needing to measure every single thing. So it's going to be a lot quicker than I expected it to be. It feels so good to have done something. So we've got one row here, then we've got our walkway, and then we've got our other row here. And one thing I've been really struggling with is how many seeds to sow, because I just didn't know how much I needed. I don't know why I didn't do this earlier, because now I know exactly how many fit a bed. So this is a 50-foot strip. There are 49 holes per row, which means there is 147 plants per bed. So I don't know whether yet I'm going to call this one bed or the whole thing one bed, so it'll be 6 rows or 3 rows, but I now cannot wait to get some plants in. It already looks like we're starting a farm. So yes, so now I know 147 plants per bed, for kale that is, and for chard, which need the same spacing as this. Obviously other crops will need slightly different spacing, but I think this, to be honest, this spacing looks pretty good for a lot of things, including lettuces and spinach, and also for the flower farm. Well, we are still waiting for Miss Connie. They've broken out of their fencing today, and they've actually headed over to sit with the other sheep. So I thought we'll just go over and have a little look. If you've been watching Instagram, you'll know that every single night I'm posting lamb cam updates, and almost every single night I think like she's looking as if she's going into labour, and then nothing happens. So today the babies still look pretty high, they don't look like they've dropped, so I don't think we've got any babies tonight. But as I say, I did guess the 20th originally, and we are only the 14th, but I think you'll see that she looks very round indeed if we can get close to her. Hello. I do spend a vast amount of time looking at a sheep's back end, which is not every day, but I don't know. But you can see she has put on a lot of weight. When she sits down, she just looks ridiculous. But you can see again on her hips, there's no massive indent where the baby would have dropped, but you can see how much fatter she has got. So the wait continues. And if you want to know more about my sheep journey, I've got a whole playlist up here which talks about our pasture grazing, breeding and our rare breed heritage sheep. A little froggy update for you. The frog spawn has all hatched. It was down here, but it started to dry out. So I moved it out a little bit to here where it had a lot more water. And you can see now there are all the tadpoles. They tend to congregate around the spawn because they actually eat all the egg. And obviously in the shallows as well, the water is slightly warmer. So they'll eat all of the rest of the egg. You can just see how many there are. They're all in here, look. And then they'll disperse off into the pond. And some have already. You can see there's a few already wandering off and becoming independent, and it's just fab to see. And I hope as many of these guys as possible survive, and then in a few years time they'll come back and we'll have even more frog spawn.